Street Fighter 6 nailed it perfectly with accessibility, and do you feel that Mortal Kombat can also top what's going on too?
I like that, man. I genuinely would like. Don't be like, ragging on people. If they're using model controls and you lose, that might be more of your fault. But
Yeah. Yo, what is good, guys? We are here today, and we are at Fighting Game Select, and I got one of my great friends, man, a down-to-earth person, and a lover of Mortal Kombat. We got UnRooolie. What is good, bro?
what's going on? What's going on? A lover of Mortal Kombat and tacos.
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
'Cause,
we can't tell them about the spot.
No, but I mean, it's secret. But like if you're one of the homies, one of the FGC homies, and you're in town, we're going.
MK, Ed Boon was all, kind of teasing a little bit and things like that, and kind of talking about like, yeah, we got something really good. It's going to be like crazy, and everybody thought right off the bat it was like Marvel versus MK. You remember that?
Right? Yeah, they thought something like the rumors were everywhere because it was taking so long, right? And they were so quiet about it, so rumors just started getting out of control.
And then now we kind of got this, which is. I think to me was like a masterpiece of like a reboot that they kind of wanted to do, especially going from the story, like the story reboot of like Liu Kang's like how he looks at the world.
Yeah,
I thought that was really crazy. But I wanted to ask you, man, like when you first heard everything, what were you expecting when you first heard like just little bits and teasers? You know how Ed Boon does.
Oh no, for sure. It was excitement because that means like MK is gonna play different than it's ever played. I mean, there was a tag mode a little bit in MK11, but you couldn't really lab it, and like it was just like a offshoot mode and stuff like that. And there was a little bit of tag in MK9, but like they never fleshed it out. It was incredibly broken, but very, very fun. So I was excited. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I like what they're doing, and I like how they're changing it up, because before, like, those modes were always just on the back burner, but now they're in the forefront. So I'm like, I was really excited to see what they were cooking. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm interested.
I'm gonna be honest. I think the trailer was fantastic. It was a very good introduction after being away for, I want to say, what, 5 years, 4 years?
4 years, yeah.
I know you got yourself like hands-on experience. So like when from seeing it and like expectation, now playing it, like what was going through your head when you like were first going in? Like, okay, like how,
bro.
How
I couldn't sleep the night before.
Oh,
I couldn't sleep.
I know that.
Right.
Feeling.
And like, there was like a few of us on the email list. I'm like, oh, you're going too? Oh my God. I'm like, oh my gosh, man. Like we literally couldn't sleep because like we finally get to play and see it and stuff like that. Like, but yeah, man, just crazy excitement. I was a little sad because there was very little time, like maybe 30, 40, like 38 minutes, maybe 40 tops. When you're playing a fighting game, and especially it would be like for us, like, right? I was there, Max was there, Justin was there. And for guys like us, we want to know what we can do, right? Like, of course, there's fatalities and cool stuff like that. But like when it comes to FGC guys, like, all right, what can I do, right? So you have to lab. And most of the time it's kind of spent labbing and learning the character. But yeah, like I think because like IGN, they'll show off the fatalities, they'll show off the supers and stuff. Like, okay, that's cool, but what is this game about? You know? And that was the exciting part for us.
A lot of people say it feels like MK9. So I wanted to ask, what game did it really resonate with you the most of the previous titles?
It was a big combination of MK9 and MK11. There's a lot more freedom now. Like, you get pop-up combos without any bar, which is nice. Like most like the characters I played, Sub-Zero, I played Kitana, and they all had pop-ups with no bar. And I'm like, okay, so it looks like there's a little bit more creativity, because whenever I chose a character in MK, I'm like, what character do I have to use the least amount of bar to do cool stuff, right? So I can save it. So I always gravitated to characters I would use less bar. Maybe the combo speed, like maybe the hits were a little bit like MK11. Maybe the creativity was on more of MK9 because the characters were stacked. There's no more variations. So it was. I think they kind of mushed those two together pretty well. This literally feels like they just like, okay, we're just gonna kit our players now. So like Sub-Zero is gonna be fully kitted, because like, like if this was like, he has Air Ice Clone and a dive, and like this is MK11, you wouldn't have enough points. You'd have to sacrifice the air ice clone or the dive kick or something like that. And in this, like, Sub-Zero's got it all.
It's kind of like what kind of games are kind of doing now, right? It's like, Capcom kind of did it with 6, and now MK is like, you know what, we're just gonna throw everybody having a kit. Everybody's gonna be able to do whatever they want right off the back, and I think that's really great.
No, that's super fire, right? You get to start off the match right out, like, especially in 6, and like, now with your cameos, you could start off just going ham, and that's what I like about 6. That's what I like about 11 now. It's just kind of cool because, like, before, fighting games, you'd have to warm up, you'd have to get your meter, and then things would start happening. Of course, like, there's things, but like when you have access to that in the beginning, like, it's popping off, like, cool, like, stuff's going down already from the rip, right? You can play hyper aggressive and stuff. So same thing with, like, both games, because you have access to your cameos, right? You don't have to like build it up. So right out the rip in those games, you can do it. And Tekken now is doing it too. Tekken is very much more aggressive. And I think a lot of now the shift in fighting games is generating to offense, right? I mean, there's still, like, you can still defense, but like they're giving a lot more players offensive options, because like sometimes you go in tourneys and you get timeouts and stuff like that, which is okay, which is like a game of chess, but like I think now they just want aggressiveness.
Before it was like, let's make it more offensive, but I feel like they made it like more bare bones offensive, right?
Yeah.
And now I feel like they're like, let's make it more offensive, but when everybody has stuff, right?
Exactly.
And I think if they want to, like, if companies want to like direct a game where like they want a game to be played a certain way, I do like the fact now they're like, well, we're just gonna let everybody just have whatever they want, rather than just being like, well, we're just gonna make it like bare bones, like aggressive. So I'm really liking, personally, I like the direction how they're kind of going now, where it's like more aggressive, but it's more fun.
And I think now companies know, like, hey, you know what? People like to play them, but people like to watch them too, right?
Yeah.
And I think they're making is good for a spectator sport as well, right? Like, if you're watching basketball, you like to see the dunks, the alley-oops, all that kind of stuff, and excitement. So I think they're like, okay, these are they're not just video games that people play. That's also a spectator thing, whether it's on Twitch, whether it's in tournaments. People, they realize that people like to see this, and you got to give them some I think a little bit more excitement.
Street Fighter 6 nailed it perfectly with accessibility. And do you feel that Mortal Kombat can also, because they kind of came a little later, they can also kind of like top what's going on too, in terms of like accessibility?
I'd like that, man. I genuinely would like that. Like, I always just tell people, I'm like, hey, don't be like, ragging on people. If they're using motor controls and you lose, like, that might be more of your fault. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing too. I enjoy it because now we're getting more people into fighting games. And that's the most important thing, is to get more people. And like, there's been people like, man, I couldn't even get out of like, bronze rank. And now they're getting higher ranks and they're playing in fighting games and having fun. And I'm like, okay, I'm for it. And if I'm getting beat, then I'm like, no, that's my problem. I need to be getting better myself, and here's the thing, like, you could still be good while using motor controls. I'm not saying like motor controls are like scrubby, but it's a great introduction to like people into fighting games, right? Like, motor controls is not going to make you, good at fighting games. You still have to have your neutral. You still have to learn to punish and stuff like that. I mean, of course, there's some like, a little bit advantages and stuff like that, but I'm happy to have more people get into the FGC. One of the biggest fighting games in the world is like Smash, is because the entry is so easy to kind of start doing stuff. And what that did is got people into the game. I love this game. And then they started getting really good. They started getting really good at Smash. So if that can happen with Tekken, that can happen with Street Fighter, that can happen with MK. That's just what we want. We want more people in this community so we can go to more tournaments. We can have more matches online.
I feel like MK is like, right now, in my opinion, I think they're the king of cameos. Now my question is to you, is that what is a cameo that you want to see? Because I feel like they are, it's limitless when it comes to them.
Yes.
They're mad random with the greatness.
Yeah. And I was talking to some of my buddies at Summer Game Fest, and like, now that's a good point, because like cameos, can't get killed, right? It's like they'll do the fatalities, but they're not getting killed. And I think that's what keeps a lot of like crazy, cool like characters from showing up, right? So potentially you can get like Batman now, but like he can be a cameo because like he's not going to get fatality. So like, you know, some of the companies be like, yeah, we really don't want our character to get fatality. So I'm like, well, hey, why not make him a cameo? He could be a cameo in the game. And I'm like, oh shoot, so that could open up a lot of potential cameos for the game if the NetherRealm just comes to companies like, hey, this is what they do this. And Ed loves to like give dream matches, right? If you look back at the MK history, we had like Alien, Predator, we had Jason, Leatherface, we had you know, there's RoboCop and Terminator, Rambo.
That was the coolest one when he wins and he goes, oh, that was so sick.
I love all the cameos because some people get mad because like, oh, it's gonna take up a character slot, but you know, I you know, in a fighting game when you can have, you know, dream matches that could never happen, I'm like, I might sacrifice a few characters, right? So we can have the Predator and Alien fight in a fighting game, right? So
cameos are really great. I think that's what kind of made Tekken 7 more popular because they had, you know, they were really smart with the cup noodles push when they were like, sponsored by Cup Noodles and you know, Cup Noodles, and then no one expected Noctis to be in Tekken 7. You know, so like things like that is
Noctis,
Negan, Akuma, you know what I mean? Just like all these crazy cameos. I thought,
maybe we get a Akuma in MKL. I'd love it. You know, like dude, just you know his assists. Oh, that'd be sick, man.
Jump, fireball, uppercut,
fireball, Tatsu. Yeah, you know, like do a combo into Tatsu and stuff. Yeah.
Can you give me a little explanation of like how it works and you know what characters are kind of like they're kind of like grasping to like kind of select as the cameos?
Like when we played, Sonya was like she was the combo like cameo because like she had their nice launcher that not a launcher, she had her air move that would like set up for air combos, so you could like boom 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 knock them in the air, Sonya hits them, and then you jump up and then do more stuff, and then Sonya had a leg grab which she can like do like let's say like a string like a, you know, 4 2 3 4 and like into the leg grab, the leg grab slams you, and then boom boom like so that like Sonya was like really good with that. I think I saw Ketchup and Mustard, they were using Jax, and Jax was also, he was more of a setup cameo, so he did have some stuff for combos because you could combo into gotcha grab, but most of his stuff was setups because he had the ground pound, and the ground pound was an unblockable, so you literally can do a nasty setup, hard knockdown, call the cameo, jump up, so by the time they get up there's a unblockable low and you're coming up from above. So there is going to be some crazy stuff, and I believe what cameos are going to do is going to allow you to play the game how you want.
With that being said, man, thank you so much. I had a great time, bro. That was so fun. You know, I was looking at like 20 minutes, but I was like, I was kind of engaged with it, so I was like, you know,
hey,
100%. Let me throw that extra 20. You know what I mean?
Hey, let's go for it, man.
Yeah,
100%. Like great conversation, man. Like good stuff, good vibes. So I'm like, yo, let's go. And you know, we talking about what we love.
Yeah.
And sharing it. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So with that being said, man, thank you so much, man, and I really appreciate your time. Where can they follow you?
It's at UnRooolie, you know, and that's with UnRooolie, and that's on all of them. You know, that's on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and all that stuff. You know, UnRooolie.
With that being said, man, hope you guys really enjoy Fighting Game Select. Appreciate you guys checking it out. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and make sure you guys give UnRooolie a follow as well. And thank you again so much for being here. That was really awesome. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace out.
Peace.